What's up, guys? Well, these days your smartphones have really become smarter in terms of performance, but it's a huge disappointment for any flagship phone for them to even last it for a single day. I'm sure by end of this video, you will definitely learn how to save battery by almost 20 to 25% on your Android phone, especially with the Samsung phones, and extend your battery life every day almost by 3 to 4 hours. These are simple tricks. Your device optimization inbuilt doesn't really let you do or activate these features for you to go ahead and save the battery. You will need to go ahead and do this manually. Okay. Number one, plain and simple. Let's start with the notification panel out here. What you see in front of you is the number of features or the number of functionalities which are enabled in your phone. Now remember, most of these functionalities which showcases in the notification panel has got to do with the hardware which functions in the background. Okay, so you got to really identify whether you really need those hardware or those functionalities to be working in the background or not. Out here, let's review each of them and analyze whether you need them. Number one, do you need a Wi-Fi? The answer is yes, and most of the time we all use internet, so let that be on. Will it save battery if you switch off the Wi-Fi? The answer is yes. You will save on battery, but that is going to be very minimal battery if you're using a data instead of a Wi-Fi. So almost either you switch on the adapter of a data or you switch on the Wi-Fi adapter, it will almost consume the similar data. So there's no point not keeping this on. Do you want to keep your phone in a silent mode? If yes, will it save battery? The answer is yes if the vibrator is off. Okay, so this is the mode, and if this is the silent mode, it will definitely save on battery. If you're receiving a lot of calls which you're not attending it, I strongly recommend you to go ahead and switch off the vibrator of your phone. This consumes considerable amount of battery when phone rings a lot and you're not responding to it. Bluetooth, no matter which version of your Bluetooth you're using, it could be 3.2, 4 or 5 version. The point is, if you're using a Bluetooth, only then switch it on. If you're not using a Bluetooth, just switch it off. This consumes the battery in the background, and you don't really want unnecessary consumption of battery to happen in the background. To do has got nothing to do with the hardware. This is the Microsoft feature which I have installed one of the applications. So that's the notification, has got nothing to do with it. Location. Now, most of you guys do not really switch off the location when not using it. So the only time probably you will need a location is, in few of the critical applications which ask for the permission, and if you want to grant a permission, you can, but you always have a choice not to. Second is the Google Map. If you're using a Google Map at a very frequent interval, probably you might want to consider keeping it on. But for most of the audience, for most of the consumers, you do not really use the Google Map, or you do not really need the location tagging to be on always. So I strongly recommend you keep this off. This is a GPS hardware which runs in the background. It really takes away a lot of your battery. Keeping your portrait auto rotations feature on and off, well, it depends what kind of person you are. If most of the time you're looking into the multimedia or pictures, or probably watching a lot of videos, you might want to keep your auto rotate feature on. I am not that kind of person, so I generally keep it off. Why? Now you might be wondering, how does it really matter? The point is, how does your screen rotate? It rotates because there is a sensor inside. And what is sensor? Sensor is nothing but a hardware, right? You're enabling hardware for it to sense the rotation, and which is always on. So if you're not using that feature very frequently, just keep it off. Navigation bar is something which, the navigation bar which we are using it right here, it has got 2 pages in it. Okay, so I'm quickly going to review all those active buttons out here, and then quickly jump on to another hidden feature which you need to operate to go ahead and save the battery. Flight mode, definitely you will not be using it. You need your phone always to be on. Torch, power mode, let's go in there. Okay, there are 4 options in Samsung phones, especially: high performance optimized, medium power saving, and maximum power saving. I keep it to optimized because after spending like huge amount of money, I don't really want my phone to perform poorly in terms of performance by keeping it to medium power saving, which restricts my processor to be at 70%. performance and not let it go to 100%. Maximum power saving definitely will, then it then there's then you don't have a smartphone in that case. So keep it optimized. Optimized is basically a balance between a performance and a battery life, which device itself decides as to how to perform. If you keep it to high performance, there is a high possibility that battery will be using its highest performance, the peak performance. All the processes will be at its peak, even for a micro operation, which doesn't really require that much power. So always keep it to optimized. Oops, going back to the navigation. Yeah, one hand operation has got nothing to do with sensors, so that's a software feature. You might choose to keep it on or off. Mobile data is something which you always needed, so just keep it on. Going to the second page, guys, very important. Most of you will not probably even realize, but most of the people have NFC feature enabled. Now, understand what is NFC. NFC is basically a chip which is right behind your device, which is, if you keep this on, that device will constantly keep giving signals, right? That's again if a device is constantly giving a signal, even if when you don't need it, why you need this feature to be on? Just keep it off. Always on display. Now that's your personal choice you want to make. I personally like this feature, and that's one of the reasons why I've stuck to Samsung phone, because those were the people first in the market to offer this feature. It consumes about 1 to 1.5% of your battery if it's 100% charged, or whatever percent. I mean, that's the consumption of the battery that it has. Smart View is definitely, you will switch it on as and when you need it. Phone visibility, just keep it off. You don't really want signals unnecessary to be on for people to view whether your phone is nearby or whether your phone is in visible mode or not. Sync is something that you always want your account to be synced. Your Gmail or whatever automatically sync should run in the background. That has got, it will constantly use your data though. Plus, if you keep it off, it will for sure save your battery. But the point is, can you survive without this? The answer is no. So just keep it on. Edge lighting is something which, whenever you receive a notification, the edges of the screen will just light up. You can keep that on, again, on your personal choice, nothing to do with drastic battery consumption. Dolby Atmos, I hardly use, first of all, speakerphone to listen to anything. I only use my wireless headset or a wired headset for that matter. So it's your choice. If you're using a lot of phone speaker, then the Dolby's Atmos will really not make sense, because those small speakers can't produce special effects. So just keep it off. If you keep it on, there's an additional processor which runs in the background, will result in consuming a lot more battery. Very important, night mode. If I keep this off, look what happened. My screen has turned white, which means all the pixels in the screen has now lit up, which means now all the pixels in my phone are consuming battery. So, plus this is not very pleasant to my eyes as well. So that's my personal choice. Always remember, maximum battery power is drained by your screen. Always remember, that's the thumb rule given. So try as much as possible to keep your screen in a dark mode. Out here, that's my personal choice, plus it helped me to save battery. Now that we are done with our navigation panel, let's go to some hidden feature. Go in settings, just type battery. All right, the moment you type battery, there are about multiple options which appear. Where you need to go is device care battery. Now look here. Now this is pure reflection of your usage pattern, okay? If I look back and the phone shows me my 24 hours usage pattern, and it tells me which are those softwares which are running in foreground or background, which is draining most of your battery. In this case, if I just review past 24 hours, I see WhatsApp for sure has taken a lot of my battery. Now, the moment I tap into WhatsApp, all I can see is the total usage time in past 24 hours is almost about 3.5 hours, out of which 34 minutes, just about 34 minutes was active in the foreground, and 3 hours it was constantly running in the background, resulting in consuming about 15% of my battery. Now, that is huge consumption. this is after enabling this to sleep when it's not using it. So guys, there's something wrong with WhatsApp, and you know what happens. Here's the thing. Okay, the moment you get into WhatsApp and right here and you go to settings, the moment you go to chats, if the chat backup is enabled, I strongly suggest you to switch it off. All right. In this case, it was activated for weekly. Most of the time, the WhatsApp will try to go ahead and back up your chats, but for some reason, it's not able to do it. So it will constantly run in the background, draining a lot of your battery. So always keep this to manual, and you will see the difference. I bet. All right. So where were we? We were here in the battery setting. Okay, device care battery. So WhatsApp for sure, that needs to be taken care of. YouTube also, these days you will realize this wasn't the case up till about 3 months ago. For some reason, I think there was some change in the software or the update of YouTube. They have started consuming a lot of your battery in the background. Okay, so again, I have put this on so that it consumes or it sleeps whenever not required. So that is taken care of. Now, this was just for past 24 hours. You might want to go ahead and tap this feature and check your usage pattern for 1 week. Okay. Guess what? YouTube, WhatsApp, and Google Play services happen to be one of my top 3 softwares which are draining, I think, most of my battery. Let's see what we can do. Google Play services, it says it's been always on for sure. It's been using almost 56% of my battery, runs in the background always. Now, this is something, can you stop it? The answer is no, it doesn't really let you play with this. So you can't do much about it. So that's there, period. Things which can, now it again depends from person to person. Like in my case, I have a lot of applications which I can go ahead and do some fine settings in the background and probably put them to sleep whenever not required. You might have different set of applications running in your phone. So this is the area where you can go ahead and control the usage of battery by each application which are installed in your phone. So I strongly recommend you to go ahead and visit that place. Moreover, coming to the settings section, all right, let's go to the display area. Like I told you earlier, display is make it or break it deal for you when it comes to saving your battery. So adaptive brightness, I have kept it on. The reason why I have kept it on is because I keep changing my environment. For example, my indoor-outdoor visit is too frequent and I don't really want to go ahead and change my brightness whenever needed, and then that becomes like a lot of manual thing. So I have kept it to adaptive brightness because based on the ambient light, it will go ahead and change the brightness of the screen. But in your case, if you spend most of the time in one constant environment, I would recommend to keep this feature off and just set the brightness as per your desired level. It will help for the sensor not to be constantly on. Where's the sensor? It's somewhere right here. It is constantly on to detect the light. So again, that is the choice that you have to make at your end. Night mode feature is something, the dark mode feature, which we talked about earlier, and that needs to be kept on always. Now, there are 2 features out here, natural and vivid. Keep it to natural always. Vivid consumes a little more processor power for it to enhance the color of your screen, and probably when you enhance the color of your screen, obviously the contrast and the brightness also comes along with. So you might want to just keep it and neutralize it. Font size and style, that has got nothing to do with battery. Screen resolution for sure. Okay, 3 options in your Samsung phone: HD+, Full HD, and WQHD. Don't really drop down to HD+, though it will help you to save a lot of battery. But remember what I told you, when you buy a flagship phone, you don't really want to miss out on some key features of a device. So in my opinion, you should always keep it to Full HD+. WQHD, avoid doing that. Reason being is not only to save battery power, but most of the applications on Android are not equipped to handle this resolution. So even if you keep this resolution on, it will eventually drop down to the resolution of Full HD+. So it is not helping you by any means. And I'm sure neither your eyes can make out any difference even if you change the resolution. So just keep it off, keep it to Full HD+. That makes more sense. Screen timeout. very important. Now, I'm a kind of person who does a lot of reading on my phone. My messages are wrong, my emails are wrong. So I keep it to 1 minute. But if you're a person who more phone call and less on messages or email, just keep it 15 seconds. You don't really want your screen to be on for unnecessary reason. So these were few key features that you need to go ahead and change in your device for your battery to enhance. One last and very important thing. You need to go to developer option, okay? Now, if your device is not showing developer options, please hunt for information on YouTube how to go ahead and enable this feature. It's very, very easy. So just enable the developer option and you scroll down right at the bottom and then slowly scroll up, okay? What you will see out here is, there you go. The window animation scale, transition animation scale, and animated duration scale, okay? Generally, it is at 1x, but I would strongly recommend either you can switch it off where all the animations are off and there's just no processor required for animation effect to come into picture. But in this case, everything is very flashy and, everything just pops up. There's no smoothness in the device left. So what I've done is, while I have kept the animation on, but I have reduced the effect of the animation, and that helps you to go ahead and save the power of your battery for additional GPU usage for, giving you that effect. So what you can do is just keep it to 0.5 here and 0.5 here, and that is it. You will see there is little smoothness still left, but it will also help you to save battery on that area. So guys, I bet you do these settings on your phone and you will see the difference in your battery backup. Do put in your suggestion or probably complain if you're not convinced with me in the comment section. And if it does not help you to save any battery, I think I can then probably suggest you some alternative. But these are the best ways to go ahead and enhance your battery life by 2 to 3 hours every day. It has helped me. I'm just not speaking about it. I have practically used it for more than a week by doing these settings, and this really helps, guys. So do give me a thumbs up if you like this solution. And guys, before you go, consider subscribing to my channel. I'll keep giving you these ideas very often. Till then, have a great one.